Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Factorio, Bob's Angels, episode 3. But yeah, start by having a look at the map. Just make sure the direction I'm going to take the bus is where we want to go. This episode, we're going to start trying to get some materials on the bus, hopefully try and start producing some things in the actual factory, and we can start clearing this temporary space away. Yeah, start by expanding the sapphire a little bit. I ran out of miners, so I make some more. While we wait for those to craft, I head up to collect the lead from the Rubite and place a couple of turrets, because we have got rampant AI on, so I'm expecting some attacks fairly soon. And I think that's the most polluted area up the north with the power production. We generally just pop around, resupplying some of the manual stuff and picking up the materials to start expanding the ore sorting area. So that's where all the ore is going to be sorted. It's going to expand as the technology for Angel's ores is researched, and where the temporary base is essentially where it's going to expand into, because none of that's going to be there at that point. But I start laying out the crushed stone production area, and I try and get the output on either side of the assemblers, but the warehouse just isn't wide enough to keep the belt straight, and I'm obsessed with keeping the belts nice and straight. It makes me happy. Nothing wrong with that. And then we start placing the inserters and get that running. But I cock up the output. I don't filter the output of crushed stone, and it immediately gets jammed with the produced stone, but I don't exactly notice that straight away. And I've done a fantastic job of deciding to run the smelting area right through the forest, but luckily we have the nanobots for clearing that, which does feel a little bit GT, to be honest, but it is very expensive. And one problem I've realised is I'm probably going to run out of resources before I have sufficient ability to clear the death world to get to more resources, so I could end up in a really sticky situation there. But I finally fixed the jam, get the stone running out. I don't know why, I like having the brick smelting strip to be the first in the row. You're only ever going to need one, so it's nice to get it out the way, get it done. And we get to brick the whole world up as well. Then I lay this ridiculously long belt for the coal. It's only temporary, thank goodness, but yeah, what an excessive use of resources there. But yeah, I'm going to use up a lot of the sapphirite fairly quickly. I made a little bit of an effort to actually learn the names of all the ores, because I know what they are by sight. You know, you just look at them when you're just playing and you're not verbalizing it, but having to actually say it is a bit weird. But yeah, it's sapphirite's the blue one, stereotyte's the light blue one, javolite's the yellow, bobmonium's the brown one just there, and rubite used to be like an orange color, but it's now quite red. When I last played this, it was a different color, but I think it was too similar to bobmonium when looking on the map. But yeah, I use a mixture of chopping trees down myself, which is a bit better now we've got the steel axe. But in a bit I also produce some nanobots, because they are handy, but expensive at the same time, so... And yeah, it's a bit excessive, but I lay out the full 16 length smelters, because I want it to be the right length for when we go to electronic smelters. But at the moment with the stone ones it is a little bit excessive. But I don't know, it's nice to have the space laid out so that I don't have to move all this when we convert to electric smelting. It's all there, they're spaced out ready. Probably not how I would always do it, but I know this is going to be the main smelting area. I also left a spot back there in between the two, the size of an assembler, and that's actually for modules, beacons, sorry. Because I like to leave the gap there for beacons. It's 3 spaces. It's not too difficult to plan ahead for. So why not do it? And I'm going to probably do that with a lot of things that'll end up being beaconed. Because kind of nicer than having to rebuild it all, even though you get robots in a bit. Once you have robots, it is quite easy to just clear everything, blueprint it, clear it, and then rebuild it. But I like to space it now. It, yeah, makes me happy. So we start clearing trees for where the actual bus is going to be. I may change this a couple of times. If it's in a really tedious manner, I'll probably do it quickly between episodes. But that's roughly where the main bus is going to run, towards the east. I did try and do something a bit different, where it's either running north to south, or south to north, or east to west, because I seem to always do west to east, and I wanted something a bit different, but because of where I've started and how close the biters are in some directions, I've sort of been stuck to stick with this direction, because we want to avoid the biters as much as we can. There's even a bit lapse in this episode. Obviously, this is future me, and past me didn't think to have a look at the map to see what the radar has picked up so far, but I'll show that in the next episode, because at the end of the episode I realise, after recording, and it's getting pretty drastic, we're going to have to do something about that next episode. It's looking pretty red, I'll say. So we've got the iron smelting area set up. We need to start clearing an area for copper. Get some copper on the belt. Get all the power connected up nice and neat. That's another thing that really triggers me, is messy poles. I don't know why. It just doesn't need to be messy sometimes, but sometimes it has to be, you know. But everyone's different. Some people don't mind it being messy. Some of my first factories were horrible, and I thought they were great, and then I started to learn the satisfaction of laying things out in such a way that, yeah, just makes me so happy. I kind of cock up this blueprinting, because the nanobots place the items as though it's the player doing it. It doesn't pick up the Bob's Mods inserter length from the blueprint. It just places it as the player. So in the top left, I've currently got enable position overrides. So that'll place the inserter as a long-handed inserter, and the nanobots are placing them all as long-handed inserters. My speech being great there. So in a bit, I have to go back and replace all of them manually, which is a bit annoying, but at least I've learned that that's going to happen, and I can counter it in the future. To be honest, using the nanobots to play stuff is even more inefficient and a bit wasting of resources. So I'll probably do those manually from now on until we get bots. But we connect the copper up from the sapphirite sorting, because we've got quite a bit stockpiled up now. But we'll need to get some stereotype sorting going to counter sapphirite running out, which I'm guessing is going to happen fairly soon. We'll need to do something about that. That's where I'm probably going to spend bulk of the last of resources, is making sure we get some more before we get screwed over. So that's probably going to mean early trains, because looking at the map later on, there's nothing nearby. I'm going to have to do some serious pushing to get some more sapphirite. It's going to be a bit of a problem. Could even be, you know, an end game. Might not be able to do it. I've never had that happen, but yeah, I cock up the placing of the inserters again, because I forget to change the setting a couple of times, and it starts putting coal on the central belt, because the smelters hadn't actually been placed. But I eventually sort it out and tidy it up. Excuse me, I do have a bit of a cold, so I may sound a little bit nasally. But I've got some nice tea and honey. It's good for that kind of thing. Tastes good too. Yeah, the some of the music sounds brilliant at this speed. It's like a whole new song at 4x speed. Especially this bit. Love it. It's like a really drastic Factorio. But yeah, we do actually end up looking at the map at this point. Completely forgot about this bit, but if you pause it and have a look, you can see all the red, but completely forgot we do actually look at it. Because we're using the RSO radar, we get to search quite far. Also refuel the temporary base iron smelters with coal. There's a chest there that supplies them each with coal. And expand the coal mining as we're now using it for a lot of smelting. But the chest has run out already because I didn't actually have that much coal on me. So I walk off without noticing it's about to run out yet again. But we've got these lovely huge copper smelting area which we'll hopefully start using in the next episode. Start getting stuff made on the bus. And we can deconstruct the temporary base. Pretty much that'll get deconstructed as soon as we're producing everything in the main base that is currently producing. So hopefully the end of next episode, maybe a bit longer, I don't know. I've got a weird way of laying out the Bob's extra stuff. I kind of create a second side bus in a way that's almost infinitely expandable. The only limit is the supply of resources to it. But I have a fairly good idea of how much that's going to need to be. So it shouldn't be too bad. So we set out the spacing for the stirritite, which I leave a gap for. I don't know why I have to do them in a certain order. Yet again, it's another one of these weird OCD obsessions. Has to go sapphirite, stirritite, and then I think bobmonium's the next one. I guess it doesn't really matter after a few of them. Javolite and plutonium is one of the last ones because they're resources you obtain outside of the starting area. And then we go and jam this awkwardly through the middle of the temporary production area there. Get this hooked up. Yeah, one problem with this hour of playthrough. Actually, this is an hour and 20 minutes, hence why the video is now 20 minutes. I may do that episode, every episode, because I get a lot more done, but we'll see. But yeah, I keep starting to produce areas with only half the resources. I place certain items, run out of stuff, craft some more, place what I can while I'm waiting. I think in the future I'll think a bit more ahead about what I'm going to build, make sure I've got more than enough things already crafted before I do it. I'm not stood around like this trying to get each thing done. I also get the crushed stone output done. I want to keep it. I could go through the other warehouses, but I kind of want to keep it on its own separate sort of mini bus. It's going to have enough for 2 lines, which should be enough for any kind of throughput we're going to encounter for crushed stone. The only problem with having the sorters placed out like this is the poles have to be not in a straight line, which is kind of frustrating, but oh well, I'll have some substations to power those in the future and it will all look lovely and I won't have to worry. But yeah, this is essentially going to be the ore bus providing the smelting areas. It's essentially going to be able to expand to whatever kind of needs we'll have in the future. Don't know exactly how big we're going to go, but we shall see. Release going for the standard, 4 belts of iron, 4 belts of copper kind of style. Don't know if I'm going to bother bussing things like cogs and wire. I'm tempted to do cogs. I kind of really like that debate. I enjoy it. It seems to be an argument between should I bus cogs or shouldn't I? And if you do, you're never going to get the right kind of throughput. Now, I kind of see it in between the 2 lines. I think it should go on the bus, but it should never be used somewhere where there's a high amount of throughput. So I'll never use the bust cogs on belt production, because you need way too many cogs for the bus to ever cope with, unless you put a stupid number of lines. But it's convenient in areas where I do like an early line of assemblers for just producing stuff for building the base. And it gets stupidly long if you have to put a cog assembler for every single item that needs cogs. So if you've got a line of them just coming along, combined with the really nice flexibility of Bob's inserters, you can provide small amount of cogs to a load of assemblers that are never really going to be fussed about throughput. So I think my answer to that argument is you should always do both. Bus it, and then where you don't need, where you do need high throughput, then build them on site. I also go into the menu there because I've installed another mod. It's the manual, excuse me, manual inventory sorting mod. So I needed to look at the key that you press for manually sorting containers, because I didn't actually look what it was when I set the mod up. I was going to edit that out, but I think I'll leave it in. But it's Control Q, I think. Yeah, Control Q while you're in the inventory will sort it, which is very handy. Because that's not done by vanilla. And I've not actually used that mod before, so that's another handy one. So yeah, this smelting area was placed out manually due to the nanobots not picking up the Bob's configuration. And to be honest, it's a bit more efficient. I'm not going to waste a load of resources having nanobots do things that I can do perfectly well myself. Which does apply to clearing trees, but you know, no one enjoys clearing trees unless you're trying to avoid a really really stressful setup that's just giving you a headache. That's when it's nice. You can just switch off and just chop trees. But we get stone down on the bus and bricks because they're both, well, bricks not needed so much, but they are needed more than in, well, a lot more than in vanilla. But stone is used quite heavily in some of the Bob's production. I can't remember the name of the product it's used for. That green stuff, we'll call it. I think Shiny Bob's changes the logo for it. Yeah, now we go nanobot termite crazy to get rid of all these trees. This area's... Oh, we've run out of things to research. So we just go through and pick the order that we want to do the rest of the red science. But yeah, as I was saying, this area we're clearing now is going to be for all the Bob's various ore sorting, so all the gold, nickel, all that stuff will get sorted into warehouses here. I'll probably do it in a very excessive manner, but I don't know, I like it. It makes me happy. It gives it lots of storage space with the warehouses so it never clogs up, and then that gets passed over the bus to the Bob's production area. I don't know what to call it really, but you'll hopefully see in future episodes how I lay that out. Probably a bit excessive, but I don't know, I like it. It's like a sub-bus. We also get areas marked out for the rubite sorting, and go and have a look at getting a belt down to bring that down and start sorting it, because we need the lead ore. What's it actually called? Galena, that's it, the galena ore. Which will be needed in the next episode when we start producing electronic circuit boards. So yeah, it's basic circuit boards and electronic circuit boards, I think they're called. I looked it up while I was recording this, but as my brilliant memory fails me yet again, I can't remember their exact names, but there are so many more of them in Bob's, it's a lot harder to remember. But, you know what I mean. So we get the rubite ore sorting area set up. And this is a classic case of me not having enough of the right stuff crafted, so that's what's great for the blueprint. You can go around, place what you've got, and place the rest of the stuff when you have it. You know, you can see what needs to go where. Very handy. So we get the loaders set up on the sorters, pick what we want to sort. But the power poles are placed in a way that they're not all getting powered, so I think I'll go back and move those in a minute. But we get the rest of the crushers set up. Run out of resources, but we get to go down to this lovely new smelting area to pick up some iron. Quite expensive warehouses. I've not actually done the calculations to compare them to chests in the same area, so the same amount of space on the ground it takes up and how much resource it costs to craft. That'd be an interesting one to find out. Yeah, we've pretty much gone through all the red science pack research, so we just picked the last of the things to do. And hopefully next episode we can get some blue science production. Sorry, not blue. Aegis. Green science production. Because science production. Yeah, that's right. Science production. Then we can start some of the more interesting things to research, or the next level of things to do. But we're going to need to start sorting out our resources next episode because we're going to be running low. But the reason for this episode being, well, the recording was an hour and 20 minutes, about that, was I just wanted to get the tin, get the lead, copper, iron, get it all on the bus, so next episode we can immediately get on to producing things on the bus, so we can start to see how that's actually going to be laid out, because it's far less stressful for me once I've worked out how far everything needs to be spaced apart, because it's easier to be too far apart than too close, in my opinion. Next episode we're going to have to start setting up the greenhouse area to get some wood production ready for basic circuit board production on the bus. But yeah, I do hope you have enjoyed the episode. It's going to get more and more interesting as the base goes on. That's all we have time for now. Do come and join me in the next episode. But yeah, bye bye, thanks for watching.